There are not 5 of us writing this story. There are 10 of us writing our story. Each one of us has a +1, our Zettelkasten. So we were invited to invite our Zettelkastens to participate in the creation of our story. And not only will we present our story, but we will share how our Zettelkastens participated.
This is there such thing as a sub-zero draft?
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Well,
We'll invent a word. It could just be the Sub-Zero draft. It's all the bits and parts and pieces.
well, that's
Individually frozen.
Right. Right.
okay. Well, here's my sub-zero draft, and it comes from basically last week, or yes, when I was answering the question, and I came up with the 4 questions because of the activity that was presented to us, and based on that activity, I thought what, and came up with these 4 questions, and so these 4 story possibilities, and so the first one was where did the librarian come from? Where did she come from? And Kathleen interestingly asked what or observed. Well, that's very interesting that you would think in terms of the librarian appearing or coming before the library came, And I thought, yeah, well, that's that's the way it came in my mind. So here is this sub-zero, and so that's the card that all of this is coming from. Okay, the card that was generated as a result of the activity from last week. Okay, to catch everybody up with this mind of mine. Okay, her name, Brom Smith, is an anagram. She knew that much. It was from first womb. Though she knew many things gathered in the ever time she'd spent watching humanity's ebb and flow, she didn't know who'd given her her name, nor how long she'd been in existence. Age wasn't a concept she really even thought of applying to herself. She had ever been. There was not a word spoken or that had ever been spoken anywhere on Earth or on the many planets beyond that blue ball that she didn't speak with native fluency. Nor was there a book, scroll, clay tablet, cave drawing, or knowledge of any sort that she, in her close, focused, everywhere attention, had not thoroughly absorbed. If it existed, it was by definition an intricate part of her. She lived this way effortlessly. She lived this way effortlessly, never having to reach for any of it until now. Now, something different was happening. She had no doubt that hers was an extraordinary life form. There were no others like her anywhere. She had checked. She was one of a kind. Had it always been this way? She didn't know, and dwelling on that thought for less than a hair's breadth in a windstorm was more than she was willing to do. She dismissed it as if it was, she dismissed it as not even fodder. When placed against a mammoth dwelling she'd recently become aware of, it was like a pebble to a mountain. In a manner reflecting both the intensity and the unstoppability of a sunrise, she began to realize the possible nature of this new feeling. Informed by millennia of observing life on earth, she knew that somehow she had become pregnant and that this was a wholly different experience for her. Up to that point, she had only to think a thing and it came into existence. Thought and manifestation had always been but a twinkling apart, if that much. But this new thing she knew without a moment's doubt would be a process and therefore a totally different experience than anything she'd known before. A process, a step-by-step unfolding that was totally foreign to anything she'd seen, heard, or thought before, except for the concept of birth, as she'd seen it on earth, and never as applicable to her esteemed self. What would this birth bring? There was a kind of solidification happening deep inside of her, no doubt about that. But wait, how had this come to be? What thought had crossed her mind to cause this? How had she not noticed it till now, when the change was already underway? This was disturbing and exciting at the same time. New was a rarity in her life. Not at all used to having undefined foreign thoughts. Whatever this was growing inside her, it felt spontaneous, but even spontaneity has a source. And then the next part is a spoiler. So I'm stopping there.
Oh, Woo. Oh, very interesting.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Oh, novel. Brilliant. Wow.